The wind howled across the barren landscape, carrying fragments of volcanic ash and tiny ice crystals. Earth had never been a gentle planet, and humans had learned to survive through generations of brutal adaptation. In the research facility, nestled between jagged mountain ranges, Commander J. Park studied the holographic displays showing planetary survival data. Humanity's history was written in survival. Every mountain range, every desert, every frozen tundra had been a battlefield, where humans fought not just against external threats, but against the planet itself. The geological record showed constant changes: volcanic eruptions, massive earthquakes, extreme temperature variations that would have destroyed any other species. Young researchers like Yoon Kim understood this better than anyone. Her grandmother had told stories of how their ancestors survived in regions where temperatures could drop to -50 degrees or rise to scorching heat that could melt standard protective gear. Humans didn't just survive, they engineered solutions. The Q facilities walls were lined with equipment developed through centuries of harsh environmental challenges. Protective suits that could withstand radioactive environments, medical technologies that could heal bodies exposed to extreme conditions, and communication systems that worked in places where electronic signals would typically fail. Jay walked through the research corridors, observing teams working on various projects. Some were developing advanced cooling systems, others were studying genetic adaptations that allowed human bodies to withstand extreme pressures and temperatures. Each project represented another step in humanity's continuous battle for survival. Outside, the landscape looked unforgiving. Massive rock formations created natural barriers, while distant volcanoes reminded everyone of the planet's unstable nature. Vegetation was sparse, adapted to survive in minimal water and extreme conditions. Small creatures scurried between rocks, each species a testament to the evolutionary power of adaptation. The human settlement looked more like a fortified research base than a traditional city. Protective domes covered living quarters, advanced filtering systems cleaned every breath of air, and underground networks provided safe passage during environmental disruptions. This was not a civilization of comfort, but of constant preparation and resilience. Yoon Kim's research team was particularly interesting. They were studying how human DNA had changed over generations, documenting genetic mutations that allowed better survival in challenging environments. Their findings suggested that humans were not just adapting physically, but their entire biological system was evolving at an unprecedented rate. Communication systems buzzed with data from global monitoring stations. Weather predictions, seismic activity reports, radiation levels, everything was constantly tracked. Survival was not just about strength, but about intelligent preparation and quick decision-making. The younger generation of researchers knew their planet was preparing them for something greater. Conversations in research halls often discussed potential space exploration, not as a dream, but as an inevitable next step. If humans could survive on this challenging planet, what other environments could they conquer? Jay Park watched a group of young scientists discussing their latest environmental adaptation research. Their eyes showed determination, a characteristic deeply embedded in human DNA. They were not just scientists, they were survivors, explorers, and potential pioneers of a new era of space exploration. As evening approached, the facility's external lights illuminated the harsh landscape. Automated defense systems activated, protecting the research base from potential environmental threats. This was not just a research facility, it was a symbol of human resilience, a beacon of hope in a world that constantly tested their limits. The planet's geological systems continued their eternal dance of destruction and creation. Volcanic rumbles in the distance, wind carrying particles of rock and ice, temperature variations that would kill most living organisms. This was home, and humans were ready, always ready. In the control room, Yoon Kim adjusted some final calculations. On her research display, the data showed promising developments in human adaptability. Something big was coming, and humanity was preparing, not with fear, but with calculated precision and an unbreakable spirit of exploration. Outside, Another storm approached. But inside the facility, humans continued their work, their spirit unbroken, their vision focused on a future beyond their challenging home planet. The research laboratory hummed with an electric tension of anticipation. Dr. Yun Kim stood before a complex array of quantum computing systems, her hands moving carefully across holographic interfaces. Years of research had led to this moment, a potential breakthrough in faster-than-light travel technology that could change everything humans understood about space exploration. Quantum mechanics had always been a mysterious field, but humans approached it with an unusual combination of curiosity and determination. The team had spent countless hours analyzing molecular structures, experimenting with energy transfer, and challenging existing scientific boundaries. Jay Park watched from an observation room, his eyes locked on the experimental setup. The research team represented the best minds humanity could offer. Young scientists who had grown up understanding that impossible was just a temporary condition. Their equipment was a mix of advanced technology and creative problem-solving techniques developed through generations of survival. The first test began quietly. Most scientific breakthroughs happened without dramatic explosions or sudden revelations. This was a careful, calculated process. Quantum particles began to move in patterns that defied traditional understanding of physics. Energy signatures started to behave in ways no previous research had predicted. Something was changing. The quantum computer began generating calculations that seemed to bend the very fabric of spacetime. Energy readings spiked, then stabilized in a pattern that looked almost like a sophisticated communication protocol. The team remained silent, watching every microscopic change. Yun's hands moved quickly, adjusting parameters, recording data. She understood that this was more than just a scientific experiment. This was humanity's next step towards understanding the universe. The computer continued generating complex mathematical models that suggested the possibility of manipulating space itself. The facility's environmental systems maintained perfect conditions. Outside, the harsh planetary landscape remained unchanged, unaware that inside these walls, something extraordinary was happening. Generations of human survival had led to this moment, a potential key to traveling beyond their challenging home. Planet communication systems connected research stations around the globe. Each facility received real-time data, scientists watching and analyzing every single result. This was a collective effort, representing humanity's unified scientific approach. Suddenly, a breakthrough. The quantum system generated a stable energy signature that suggested faster-than-light travel was not just possible, but potentially achievable. The team looked at each other, a mixture of excitement and professional caution crossing their faces. Jay Park entered the main research area. His military background combined with scientific understanding made him the perfect bridge between technological innovation and practical application. He reviewed the initial data, his experienced eyes catching nuances that younger researchers might miss. The quantum computer continued its complex calculations. It was generating models that suggested not just travel, but potential communication across vast distances instantaneously. This was more than a technological breakthrough. This was a fundamental reimagining of human potential. Research logs were carefully documented. Every single calculation, every energy reading, every microscopic change was recorded. Humanity had learned through generations that detailed documentation was the key to progress. Nothing was left to chance. Young researchers began running additional simulations. They knew this could be the moment that would be remembered in history books. The day humans potentially cracked the code of faster-than-light travel. The day they proved that the universe was not a boundary, but a challenge to be understood. The facility's advanced cooling systems worked over time, managing the massive energy outputs from the quantum computing arrays. Complex mathematical models danced across multiple holographic displays, each representing a potential pathway to understanding space travel. As night fell outside, the research continued. No one wanted to stop. No one wanted to miss a single moment of potential discovery. This was humanity's approach, relentless, curious, always pushing forward. Dr. Yoon Kim allowed herself a small smile. They were close to something extraordinary. Not just a technological breakthrough, but a fundamental shift in human understanding of the universe. The quantum computer continued its complex dance of calculations, promising a future beyond their wildest imagination. The first step towards traveling between stars had just been taken, and humanity was ready. The massive spacecraft preparation facility buzzed with controlled energy. Hundreds of workers moved with precise coordination, their movements reflecting years of careful planning. Commander J. Park watched the preparation process, understanding that this was more than just a mission. This was humanity's first true interstellar departure. Massive construction platforms held multiple spacecraft designs. Each vessel represented years of technological development, combining advanced quantum propulsion systems with robust survival capabilities. The ships looked unlike anything previous space exploration had produced. They were not just transportation vehicles, but complete mobile civilization units. Yoon Kim's research team had developed unique environmental adaptation systems. These were not ordinary spacecraft, but complete living ecosystems, capable of supporting human life across potentially decades of travel. Integrated agricultural zones, advanced recycling systems, and medical facilities were built into every vessel's design. Global communication networks tracked every single preparation stage. Governments, scientific institutions, and military coordination centers monitored the departure protocols. This was a unified human effort, something that had never happened before in their planetary history. The first batch of spacecraft would carry 10,000 carefully selected humans. These were not just random travelers, but a meticulously chosen group, representing diverse scientific, technical, and cultural backgrounds. Each person had undergone years of specialized training, preparing for potential unknown challenges. Planetary defense systems remained active, protecting the preparation facilities. Even during this moment of exploration, humanity maintained its survival instincts. Automated weapon systems, advanced sensor networks, and protective energy shields surrounded the spacecraft construction zones. Cargo areas were filled with specialized equipment, scientific research materials, genetic preservation units, technological blueprints, and cultural preservation databases were carefully loaded. These ships carried not just people, but the entire potential of human civilization. Communication. Protocols with alien observation networks remained tense. Various galactic civilizations had been monitoring human technological developments with a mixture of fear and curiosity. The departure was being watched by countless advanced sensor systems from different star systems. Commander Park reviewed the final departure checklist. Every single system needed perfect synchronization. Years of planetary survival had taught humans that preparation was the key to success. Nothing was left to chance. Every potential scenario had been simulated thousands of times. The spacecraft's quantum propulsion systems represented the pinnacle of human technological achievement. These were not traditional rocket engines, but complex energy manipulation systems that could potentially bend space-time itself. Each vessel carried multiple backup systems, ensuring maximum survival potential. Medical facilities within the spacecraft were revolutionary. Advanced healing technologies, genetic repair systems, and complete biological monitoring units were integrated into every living section. Humans were preparing not just to travel, but to potentially establish life in completely unknown environments. Psychological preparation had been equally important. The selected travelers underwent extensive training to manage potential isolation, unknown environmental challenges, and the psychological stress of long-term space travel. They were not just passengers, but potential founders of new human civilizations. Global media covered the preparation with intense interest. Billions watched as humanity prepared for its most significant journey. The spacecraft looked like massive technological sculptures, representing human potential and evolutionary progress. Yoon Kim's final system checks revealed remarkable stability. The quantum propulsion systems showed unprecedented energy efficiency. Theoretical models suggested these vessels could potentially travel distances that would take traditional spacecraft thousands of years in mere months. As final preparation stages completed, a sense of historical significance filled the facility. This was more than a mission. This was humanity's next evolutionary step. Generations of survival, technological development, and collective human spirit had led to this moment. The first spacecraft's departure countdown began. Millions watched. Through global communication networks, Commander J. Park stood on the primary control platform, his hand ready to initiate the launch sequence. Humanity was ready to leave their challenging home planet. Not as refugees, but as explorers. Not with fear, but with calculated determination. The universe awaited. The first alien communication arrived unexpectedly. A low-frequency signal emerged from a distant star system, intercepted by the human exploration vessel's advanced communication arrays. Commander J. Park studied the incoming transmission with careful concentration, understanding that this moment would define humanity's first genuine interstellar interaction. Dr. Yun Kim worked alongside communication specialists, decoding the complex signal patterns. The alien language was nothing like human communication systems. It consisted of mathematical sequences, energy wave modulations, and intricate frequency shifts. Slowly, they began to understand the basic structure of the transmission. The alien civilization called themselves the Resonance Collective, a species that communicated through complex energy patterns rather than traditional sound or visual languages. Their initial message was not hostile but cautiously curious. They had been monitoring the human spacecraft's approach for several solar cycles. Human communication teams worked around the clock, developing translation algorithms that could interpret the intricate alien communication methods. Each breakthrough felt like solving an impossible puzzle, requiring creativity and scientific precision that humans had developed through generations of survival. The spacecraft's defensive systems remained active, but not aggressive. Years of planetary survival had taught humans the importance of preparation without showing immediate threat. Their approach was calculated, open communication, but with clear technological capabilities that suggested potential defensive power. Initial exchanges revealed fascinating differences. While the Resonance Collective had advanced technological capabilities, they seemed more interested in collaborative information exchange than territorial expansion. They requested detailed information about human evolutionary history, planetary survival techniques, and technological development paths. Yun Kim prepared comprehensive data packages. These were not just scientific reports, but detailed cultural representations of human experiences. Geological records, medical advancements, technological innovations, and cultural diversity were carefully compiled. Humanity would be represented, not just as a species, but as a complex civilization. The alien communication became more frequent. They seemed particularly fascinated by human adaptability, how a species from such a challenging planet could develop such diverse technological and survival capabilities. Their transmissions carried a sense of respect, mixed with cautious curiosity. Commander Park understood the diplomatic significance. This was not just a first contact scenario, but a potential foundation for future interstellar relationships. Every communication was carefully analyzed, every response calculated to demonstrate human capabilities without appearing threatening. Technological exchanges began carefully. The Resonance Collective shared advanced energy manipulation techniques, while humans provided complex biological adaptation strategies. Each civilization recognized the potential value of collaborative knowledge sharing. The human spacecraft maintained a stable position near the alien communication zone. Advanced sensor systems continuously monitored potential threats, while communication teams worked on developing more sophisticated translation algorithms. Humanity approached this encounter with a combination of scientific curiosity and survival instinct. Unexpected discoveries emerged. The Resonance Collective revealed they had been observing human technological developments for decades. They were impressed by humanity's rapid technological progression and unique problem-solving approaches. What other galactic civilizations saw as chaotic, they recognized as innovative. Medical data exchanges proved particularly fascinating. Human biological adaptation techniques fascinated the alien civilization. The ability to survive in extreme planetary conditions, rapid genetic modification capabilities, and complex immune system developments were studied with intense scientific interest. Communication logs were carefully preserved. Every transmission represented a potential historical document, a first step in potential long-term interstellar relationships. The human team understood they were not just representatives of their spacecraft, but of entire planetary civilization. As communication continued, something remarkable happened. The initial tension began transforming into genuine scientific curiosity. The Resonance Collective started viewing humans not as potential threats, but as unique evolutionary partners. Commander J. Park watched the communication screens, understanding they were witnessing a moment that would be remembered in human history. This was not just a first encounter, but the beginning of humanity's genuine entry into the larger galactic community. The universe suddenly felt smaller, yet infinitely more fascinating. The Galactic Council chamber trembled with tension. Representatives from dozens of alien civilizations watched the human delegation with a mixture of fear, respect, and reluctant curiosity. Commander J. Park stood at the center, representing humanity's first official diplomatic appearance in the interstellar community. Years of careful communication with the Resonance Collective had prepared this moment. Humanity was no longer seen as a potential threat, but as a unique civilization with extraordinary capabilities. The advanced sensor networks that once tracked human movements now anticipated their potential contributions. Dr. Eun Kim presented a comprehensive data package documenting human technological and cultural developments. The presentation revealed not just scientific achievements, but the complex story of a species that had survived on a challenging planet. Each slide demonstrated humanity's unique approach to problem-solving and adaptation. The council chambers represented multiple technological levels. Some civilizations had existed for thousands of solar cycles, believing they understood universal development patterns. Humanity challenged every single one of those established beliefs. They were unpredictable, innovative, and remarkably adaptable. Medical technology exchanges became a primary point of interest. Human biological adaptation techniques fascinated multiple alien species. The ability to survive extreme conditions, rapid genetic modification capabilities, and complex environmental engineering strategies were studied with intense scientific curiosity. Technological contributions began flowing rapidly. Humans introduced innovative energy management systems, advanced medical restoration techniques, and unique planetary rehabilitation technologies. What other civilizations considered impossible, humans approached as challenging but solvable problems. The Resonance Collective became primary diplomatic supporters. They explained to other galactic representatives how humanity's survival experiences had created a unique civilization. Humans were not conquerors, but collaborative problem solvers with an extraordinary capacity for understanding complex challenges. Diplomatic protocols transformed. Previous galactic interactions had been based on strict territorial agreements and limited communication channels. Humans introduced more flexible, collaborative approaches. They proposed joint research initiatives, open communication networks, and shared technological development platforms. Unexpected alliances began forming. Smaller galactic civilizations found human diplomatic approaches refreshing. Instead of hierarchical control structures, humans proposed collaborative networks where each civilization could contribute and benefit equally. Commander Park's diplomatic team demonstrated remarkable cultural sensitivity. They understood that communication was more than just exchanging information. It was about building genuine understanding. Each interaction was carefully prepared, respecting the unique cultural backgrounds of different alien civilizations. Scientific. Research stations began receiving human collaboration proposals. Advanced quantum communication technologies, environmental restoration techniques, and complex biological adaptation strategies became valuable exchange resources. Humanity was transforming from an unknown species to a potential galactic partner. The first human interstellar colonies began establishing themselves. These were not military outposts, but comprehensive research and cultural exchange centers. Each colony represented a potential bridge between different civilizations, demonstrating humanity's collaborative approach to space exploration. Technological development accelerated. Alien civilizations that had been technologically stagnant for generations suddenly found themselves challenged and inspired by human innovation. The traditional galactic power structures began shifting, with humanity emerging as a significant transformative force. Economic exchange systems underwent radical transformations. Humans introduced more dynamic, flexible trading models that valued innovation and collaborative potential over traditional resource accumulation strategies. Their approach challenged centuries of established galactic economic practices. The Galactic Council's emergency sessions gradually transformed from defensive meetings to collaborative planning conferences. Humans had not conquered through military might, but through innovative thinking, adaptability, and a genuine desire for mutual understanding. Commander J. Park's final diplomatic address captured the essence of human potential. "We are not here to replace or control," he explained. "We are here to learn, collaborate, and grow together." The statement resonated across multiple communication networks, changing perceptions about humanity's galactic role. As solar cycles passed, humanity's position in the galactic community became clear. They were not just another species, but a transformative civilization that challenged existing understanding of technological and cultural development. The universe had found its newest, most unpredictable explorers,